All right, this is the second part of 1.2b of solving two-step equations. This is the word problem part, so it might be a little bit more lengthy, but my goal is to keep it under 10 minutes. So we're going to read these, take these step by step, and then try to get the equation before we solve it. Michelle's drill team needs money to go on a competition in Austin. The drill team members have already raised $234. They need to raise a total of $1,250. How much more money do they need to raise in order to attend the competition? So I like to read the word problem through once and then kind of go through and highlight and circle my important information. So as I'm looking through this, I don't need sentence 1, but sentence 2 says the drill team members have already raised $234. So they are starting out with $234. So I know that's going to be important in my equation somewhere. So I'm going to put that down. So $234. They need, keyword need, to raise a total, I like that word total, of $1,250. So when I think of the word total, I think of equals to. Okay, so I think equals to. So on my other side of my equation, I'm going to put 1,250. Okay, because that's the goal. That's the end goal. That's the total amount equals to this. So my question is what goes here? Okay, so as I'm going through, it says how much more money do they need to raise in order to attend the competition? So if M stands for money, okay, I need to know how much more of it do they need. So if I put M in here somewhere, okay, I need to figure out, do I add it to the 234? Do I subtract it? Okay, so they started out with $234. And I want to know how much more money. So we need to get more money. I know that we are going to add whatever else we need to raise and what we have already raised together, and it should equal my total of 1,250. So there's my equation. All right, so now we need to solve. So this is actually a one-step equation. So we have $234 plus M equals 1,250. If I do my railroad tracks, I want to get M by itself. So right now I have a positive 234. So in order to undo that positive 234, I need to subtract 234 from both sides. That leaves me with M equals $1,016. So that's how much more they need to raise. They need to raise $1,016 more. All right, this next one. Paul now weighs 197 pounds. Now weighs. Okay, so when I think of now right here, I think equals. So let's go through the whole thing first. He has lost 26 pounds to reach his new weight. How much did Paul weigh originally? Okay, so that's my question. So my question will always be my unknown variable. So I'm going to use W as my variable. Okay, so we want to know how much he weighed originally. So that is my unknown variable. Okay, so when I think of now weighs, I think of, again, like the last question, total. That is the end result. Okay, so in my mind, I think 197 is on its own side of the equation because that's what he weighs now. Okay, so if I want to use W as my variable, okay, I need to know what goes on that other side of the variable. So if W, what was he originally weighed, and that's what we want to know, and we were told that he lost 26 pounds, what operation, as in multiplication, subtraction, addition, or division, do you think of when you hear the word lost? Okay, you should have thought subtraction. So we know that he weighs 197 pounds now. We want to know how much he originally weighed before he lost his 26 pounds. Okay, so that's where I got that equation. So now we need to solve. So I have 197 equals W minus 26. Draw my railroads. I want to get W by itself. So in order to get W by itself, I must undo the minus or negative 26. So I need to add 26. When I add 26, I get 223. And that is how much he originally weighed, which is 223 pounds. All right. Number 9. Kendra went to Hastings and purchased 2 movies. The tax she paid was $1.70. If the tax rate is 8.5, what was the cost of the 2 movies? So cost of the 2 movies is our unknown variable. So I'm going to use that as X. Okay. All right. So she paid $1.70 in tax. All right. So when I think about that, I think that that should be our end result. So we know that whatever taxes she paid on the amount that she had on tickets, it resulted in her paying $1.70 in taxes. Okay. The cost of 2 movies. Okay. So that's going to be our unknown variable. We know she bought 2 tickets, but we don't know how much they were. Okay. So that's going to be our unknown variable. But here's the thing. When we are multiplying or dividing or adding or subtracting a percent, we must convert to a decimal. And how you do that is put that percent over 100, put it in your calculator, and you should get 0.085. Okay? So our tax rate is 0.085 when we multiply it to the cost of the tickets. Okay? When we multiply our cost of the tickets by our tax rate, it should give us $1.70 in taxes. Okay, so I got to figure out how much those tickets were. Okay, so now we need to solve. So we have 0.85 times x equals 1.070. Okay. So I want to get x by itself, so I must undo what's being done to x. Right now it's multiplying, so I need to divide by 0.085. What I do on one side, I must do to the other. X equals 20. When you plug in 170 divided by 0.085, you get 20. So she spent $20 on those 2 tickets. 2 movies. Okay. All right. Last but not least, Nathan is saving 2/3 of the money he makes each week at his job to purchase a motorcycle. How much money, here's our question, our unknown variable, does his weekly pay need to be in order to save $48 each week? Okay. All right. So if he wants to save $48 each week, this is my total. So when I think about total each week, I think equals that amount of money. So equals 48. All right. So how much money does his weekly pay need to be is our unknown variable. Our question is always going to be our unknown variable. Okay, so that's our x. We got to throw our X in there somewhere. So if he wants to save 2/3 of that money, okay, 2/3 of that money he makes in order to save $48, we got to figure out what operation we're doing. Okay, so he's not going to add 2/3 or subtract 2/3 of his money. So it's either going to be multiplication or division. Okay, so he's not also dividing his money. He's wanting to save the money that he does make. So in my eyes, and the operation that we need to use is multiplication here. And the only reason why we need to use multiplication is because it is a part of his money. Okay, so it's 2/3 of whatever he makes. So when you think of, you think, okay, meaning multiply, okay? So here is our equation. 2/3 of the money he's making should be $48. Now we just have to figure out how much money does he have to make in order to save $48. So now we solve. Okay. All right, so because that is multiplying, we need to divide by 2/3. What I do on one side, I must do to the other. And X equals 72. So he must make $72 in a week in order to save $48 at the end of that week. All right. Little lengthy, but I hope this helps understand wording and how to create an equation by a worldly scenario. Bye, guys.